Hi there, and thank you for clicking on my video. Today we're going to be talking about farming relics and how you can passively farm relics for more effective prime farming. Uh, this is going to be very informative to the new player, and hopefully this will add some tools to the arsenal of a veteran player, and also to talk about how, briefly, tower keys are basically still in the game, more or less. With it's tower keys with extra steps for those that remember that. Also, for the fashion coloring that we did the past video, I tuned the colors and I think it looks way better now. But it's the same color scheme that was generated. So, let me know what you think. But okay, Void Relics. 101, you have eras, Lith, Meso, Neo, and Axes. You have to farm them. There are several grades of them that you select: Intact, Exceptional, Flawless, and Radiant. The higher up the quality goes, the higher chance for the rare reward you get, which is basically the only reason why you would do a Radiant. If you're going to do a silver reward, do Flawless. And that's basically that. So let's talk about acquiring relics faster and, more importantly, passively. Um, Relics can be acquired everywhere. Uh, every single mission, with few exceptions, have some sort of relic on the loot table. So you are passively going to be picking them up just by doing star chart missions. But the important ones are um, literally anything in the void. And just to double check, I actually pulled up all of their loot tables. And with very few exceptions, literally every single mission is entirely relics. They're not ratted though. And older players will remember tower keys. But yeah, with the exception of like the caches, but the rewards, yeah, the entire loot pool are relics. Um, Now some of you knew that, uh, but this also, and it made me think about it, and what made me think about talking about this is the two survivals and the defense nodes. Anything that's endless in the void, so interceptions, survivals, defense missions, yada yada. If you do a Fisher and you are popping relics in the Fisher in the void, and you go past 5 rounds where you get the extra relic, whatever it is, depending on the node, like it's uh what 25 minutes for survival, 5 rounds, or sorry, 25 rounds for defense, um 4 or 5 decryptions for interception, that sort of stuff. And you are in a Fisher, you are actually generating relics just by being in the Fisher, even though you are burning relics constantly. So for a survival mission, even now, like there's one on Mott, I can go in here and it's a Neo Fisher and leave with Neos and Axes. and actually leave, if I stay long enough, more relics than I burned staying in it. If you like survivals, that is. But that's the interesting implication with this. But okay, let's talk about how to more passively farm relics. For the new people, when you're doing endless missions specifically, there is always a round where you receive a bonus. Uh, so, say like defense missions. If you go to, I think it's wave 25, where it completes the bar, especially in a fissure, you will receive a void relic. So when you're doing defense missions, try to go to where you receive the bonus. In survivals, you go to a rotation C. And even when I'm farming with my clan, one of the things I say a lot is if we're doing a survival, I always try to leave on a rotation C. Defense missions are just the same. Let's leave on a rotation C. Interception, same thing. Leave on a rotation C. Not only will it help you collect mods more effectively, as you will be pulling from each tier of the reward pool, but it will also allow you to get more relics. So that's a behavioral change. Okay, let's talk about more specific farming. I mentioned in my other video, there are several places where you can spam farm these. The two captures in the void. What is it? Uko and Hepit. And I don't think these. Yeah, Uko and Hepit are extremely fast captures. You can spam those, and then in the period of 10 minutes, easily have 10 relics. Even if RNG isn't super favorable to you that day. I think the record for a capture on Uko is like 20 something seconds. So there literally you will probably spend more time loading in and loading out of the mission than actually doing the mission. So in terms of relics per second, these are kind of the name of the game. Also, yeah, Hive. It used to be ODD. If you are with a team and you have a bunch of nuke frames that can burn the enemies down, this is heavy on the relics also. And if you like your disruptions, disruption run. And also, what is it? Zeni? How do you pronounce it? Yeah, this one is heavy on the relics also, particularly axes. So if you don't like disruptions and you can do interception, there are ways to cheese this. It is slower, as being able to kill faster doesn't help you. There are ways to cheese this, like with a range duration Neja. You can burn through this in practically the minimum time. So, acquiring relics that way. Another way, and it is one of the ways that I use, is ESO. Here, it's not every reward pool, but when you do receive relics, they are radiant. And every day I'll go do 8 rounds of ESO and just collect a couple of radiant relics for the day and burn through like 2 or 3 of them, and they stack up. Now I wouldn't have made this video if that was the only thing. You can literally Google that stuff. The other thing that's kind of new and I know everybody's happy to do these missions, is actually the Railjack missions. Particularly the spies are heavy on um, on relics, but any of the what is it, the void storms, you can RNG up to 3 relics each time, and as you go higher, they're radiant and axes. I think. Hold on, let me double check. Uh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, they're all axes. But it is a smaller percentage, less than 50%. But when you look at the other parts of the reward pool, they contain relics as well. So Void Storm. Okay, so that's what we were looking at. Caches. There are relics in the caches also. Uh, that's resources from completing the mission. And there's relics. That's from skirmish. But you see what I mean? So you look at the mission type, and spy seems to be pretty heavy on it. You can get up to 3 relics each run, which makes the farm not horrible. Because with these, especially exterminates, there are a couple of exterminates still that are really fast. Was it New Gua Mines? Yeah, this one is super fast. And you can just RNG stuff really fast. So if there's a void storm on New Gua Mines, you can move quickly through that mission. Like you would even want to do Gauss's Helminth on Titania for this mission because you would just blow everything up. And you would also be farming credits. You would also be farming Railjack resources. You'd be collecting Tellurium. You'd be getting Neptune resources and the Railjack resources. I already said that. And relics at the same time for running the mission. And the amount of endo and credits you collect on these missions is kind of cracked, to be honest. Like if you're not a fan of Profit Taker, man, do New Gua Mines. Doing the mission over and over, you're talking, a couple 100,000 credits an hour, and you have a ton of relics at the same time. So food for thought. Also, if they ever put it in the game, this is sort of if you see it in the future. Um, I have checked. I have not seen an Orphix Venom Void Storm before, but no. If this node ever gets a Void Storm, I hope you have a higher end or at least a completed 5 form of the whole thing. This will by default be the best node in any star chart to farm. Because here's what you're going to get on this, and this is future, like ahead, right? If it ever happens, you will be able to farm arcanes because this is the highest tier. It includes arcane energize in the pool on this node specifically, not the lower ones. You will be able to do relics at the same time, and with a if it follows the reward pool that's on there, you will be popping a relic essentially every 4 minutes. You will be farming Railjack resources, and what's the other thing that's on here? Proxima, Orphix. Reward pool. I am super prepared today. And you will have the chance to farm Axes and the Vidar and Zetki parts. And I think the Vidar's the good plating. You need multiples of the Zetki and Vidar reactors. I don't know, maybe I'll do a video on like Railjack stuff because I have 2 of everything, so I can literally show you what their maxed parts are. But the reward pool is the Hydralist reward pool. So if somebody can tell me of a node that beats that, and it's 36 Orphix drops, where it's AABC, so you're getting 8 rolls out of this reward pool. I just couldn't think of a better credit farm, relic farm, and arcane farm all at the same time. So if you ever see this node, consider running it. And unlike, even though this is slower than, actually, it's not even slower than Eidolons. Technically, this is faster. If you have a cracked Void Rig or something, and it's set up correctly, technically this is faster than Eidolons. Only for the Hydralist reward pool. Because it's what? A Orphix drop a minute, and you get 36, so the mission's over in 40 minutes. And you get 8 rolls out of the Hydralist reward pool and some of the Gargantulist. And this node's up 24/7, where you're not waiting on night. That being said, it is an Orphix mission. So if you get good at it, you get other people that are good at it. Make sure to take a Hildren to get your energy back. That sort of stuff. Like, it might actually be worthwhile if Void Storms start popping up here. Literally having a single dedicated loadout to this node. Because the rewards would just be so insane. But I haven't seen it, but I've always looked at it and been like, man, if this ever gets this one little thing, it's literally the name of the game. And with the reward pool, you would be able to open 8 relics while you were here. So, food for thought. If you ever notice this and you ever check the Void Storms, I always forget they exist. If this ever gets a Void Storm on it, this is the node to like stop what you're doing and farm. And the Void Storms they do last longer than normal fishers, I'm pretty sure. It's like 2 hours or something, or an hour and a half. Where regular fishers can last like up to 2. But yeah, food for thought. If you ever notice this one, this is actually like the greatest farm in the game by default when it gets a storm on it, if it happens. But okay, so going back to relics, little rant, sorry about that. ESO for rads. SO, if you can't do ESO, good enough. You'll have to RNG the reward pool. And if you're comfortable doing like a defense or an interception, anything that you can speed up, like a defense mission or an interception mission, if you can get through an interception mission or set up a team to do an interception mission, it's one of the fastest relic farms. Besides like a capture, but that can be mind-numbing running that 20-second run over and over and over again. But this would be the fastest relics per minute. So do rotation Cs. The drops are way better. It allows you to pull from all reward pools. And as you go up in the star chart, they drop more axes. But in the void, between Annie and Mott, if you're a fiend for survivals, you can basically stay on these 2 nodes for an eternity. And I know some people that do them like hours a day, like 3 hours minimum. So there you go for relics. Uh, and there's also standings. Talked about that in the last video. Passively gain standing each day. You can do 30k daily standing, pack and a half. That's not bad. So pack and a half is essentially what, 4.5 relics passively for not doing anything. If you're looking to farm relics, you could easily do 100 relics in like a couple hours. So it's food for thought. For the people that didn't know, now you know. For the older people that enjoyed their tower keys, they're sort of here. They're still gone though. But anyway, thank you for hanging out. Video's about 20 minutes. It went a little longer than I wanted, but have a blessed day, and I hope this information helps.